A lot of success, a lot of failures, but man, I'm thankful for the journey, man. I really am.
Without all those ups and downs, man, you wouldn't be where you are now. The failures make the success taste sweeter.
I became a good dad, but I didn't have a dad. There were a lot of males in my life growing up that played different roles. And the best part is like I didn't have like one blueprint to be like, I gotta be like this because my dad, he gave me that awareness so that I could pick different things and not necessarily be married to like one figure in my life. Because I mean, my dad passed when I was 10.
Without having a dad, a lot of kids don't have dads. Like they don't have those kind of relationships. I like what this guy does. I don't like what that part of him where I want to be like that. And that had to have like helped shape you as the father you want to be and are today.
Welcome to the Hey Dad podcast, real conversations at the intersection of leadership and fatherhood and what it really means to be present in the moments that matter. I'm Brian Canavan here with my buddy, former Buckeye great, Super Bowl champion, and awesome dad, Jake Ballard. We are two of the three owners of the Hey Dad app, which allows you to pass along what's most important to those that matter most. And we get to be the podcast host for the Hey Dad podcast.
Thanks for the intro, Brian. Yeah, Hey Dad is an app that helps fathers share what matters most with people who matter most throughout their meaningful life and all their life through with their kids. So any advice or legacy you want to pass down or moments you want to keep forever, that's the goal behind Hey Dad. So download Hey Dad today at heydad.pro and both the Apple iStore and the Google Play.
DeVier, we've been really looking forward to this conversation. Really honored to have you in here.
Yeah, I was pumped about today. Played with DeVier at Ohio State. Anytime we get to be with the Buckeyes is a special moment, especially talking all things dad and fatherhood. It's like the one thing, no matter where you're from, what kind of background you have or career you have, if you have kids, you can relate to that person.
Yeah,
because
man.
you're going through the same stuff.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. And I was just saying, like, we wanted to prepare for this, but it's not like doing a sports pod or anything. Like everybody's just being a dad for the first time. So I guess I'll give you guys my best, as a dad. But I'm no expert. Yeah. I'm just doing this for the first time.
I've been impressed at how intentional you are. Mm-hmm. And so a quick bio for everybody on DeVier. DeVier Posey has lived more than one extraordinary story. So a lot of people, unfortunately, a lot of people know the Buckeye receiver, NFL player, just a little 100-yard reception in the Grey Cup, MVP for the CFL. So most people know about the sports. What they may not know is the story of the child whose life was changed by nonprofit care, the husband, the father that has moved across the country, chasing a dream and been an entrepreneur and is now building healthier futures for young people. So born in California with a serious autoimmune deficiency disease, he received care made it possible through nonprofit support. His family moved to Ohio and his mother transformed the way that the household approached food, health, and wellness. Mm-hmm. Those early experiences eventually became the foundation to the work that DeVier now does for children and families. And raised in Cincinnati, DeVier became, the word freak athlete is thrown out a lot. And I think that you embody a freak athlete as a multi-sport athlete, setting records, AAU basketball, football at LaSalle, fellow GCL guy. Yeah, I'm a Crusader, but yes, we'll share our GCL love there.
Yes, sir.
He was in All-American, USA Army All-American recognition, Watkins Award, and later inducted into LaSalle's Athletic Hall of Fame. Recruited to Ohio State University to play football, DeVier made an immediate entrance by turning his first collegiate reception into a touchdown. Developed into one of the Big Ten's most dangerous receivers and finished his career with almost 2,000 yards, 18 touchdowns, and capped it off with an incredible couple bowl performances.
Dang, Brian, man.
Oh, it's not done.
Yeah.
You got DeVier's a humble guy, so like hearing these things, it makes you kind of uncomfortable.
It does. I love it.
But hey, I get it. I can relate to it. I mean, I don't have as many accolades, but
the touchdown he caught in the Rose Bowl for the victory over Oregon, I think you had a say in that too.
It doesn't live without Jake Ballard.
Absolutely.
I'm nothing without Jake Ballard. I know that.
Yeah. I say the same thing all the time.
Yeah, man.
I did a lot of blocking, pass pro for DeVier to catch balls in Ohio State.
I'm not doing that, Jake Ballard. I know that.
He had 3 tackles in there protecting his quarterback.
I love it. So your path was never quite simple. During senior year, there was the NCAA suspension. But what was, I think, really great about that, you stayed in school, completed your degree in communications, and performed at the NFL Combine, and were selected in the 3rd round of the 2012 NFL Draft, 68th overall, to the Houston Texans. With the Houston Texans, I think you immediately jumped in, had an incredible catch in the playoffs against Tom Brady's Patriots, and took a turn there. And the end of that game,
literally next drive,
devastating Achilles injury. And I know that's such a unfortunately common thing with athletes, and that those injuries and learning resilience there. But what you were able to do coming back from that, going through to the CFL, the Grey Cup MVP. He caught, I believe, the longest touchdown in CFL history at 100 yards.
In the Grey Cup.
Cup. Yep.
It's been some longer ones because the field.
110 yards. Yeah. Yep. It's that conversion rate to Canadian.
Yes. Metrics.
But football was only part, and that was your first dream. So today, DeVier leads Empower, a youth enrichment and behavioral wellness organization that integrates mental health, education, mentorship, and practical life tools for young people. He is the founder of and president of Pocketful of Posies, the nonprofit created in 2013 to promote health, wellness, education, and opportunities for children and families, particularly in underserved communities. He also founded the Pith Marketplace and continues building ventures focused on culture, wellness, and community impact. Beyond all of the athletic highlights, business, public work, everything, DeVier is a husband to Kira and a father to 3 incredible boys. DeVier, welcome to the Hey Dad podcast.
Man, I appreciate that. Thank you. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
That is really good. It's a lot of success, a lot of failures, but man, I'm thankful for the journey, man. I really am. It's just got to keep living, man.
Well, without all those ups and downs, man, you wouldn't be where you are now, and
man.
all the success, the failures make the success taste sweeter and feel more impactful. I get the lows and highs of the football career. I can relate to that pretty well. But before the touchdowns in the draft and the businesses, you were a child whose health was uncertain. What is the earliest version of the story you remember from hearing from your mom?
Oh man, I think the earliest thing I always remember just about my health was just the early warnings from her. Like she was just, and I'm like that with my boys. I like to say I oversee the diet at a house, and
you're the family nutritionist.
I'm a family nutritionist. I was talking to my wife on the way here about what kind of stuff I want from the grocery store during this time of year. You know, just like building. In the summer, the list changed a little bit. So I remember growing up, my mom always just making sure that food was important. Always, like, when the seasons turn here in Ohio, she would be like, "You're not wearing shorts." You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the first thing kids want to do is wear shorts. And you want to switch from those khakis to the khaki shorts as soon as you can, because it's just a change up with the uniform, going to all boys school. So I couldn't do that. When people got sniffles, I kind of had like a COVID awareness kind of early. Like, when people would like sniff, you'd be like, "Oh, wow," like, "Ooh, not shaking his hand," or stuff like that. And it was just because I didn't get fevers, because like that's what happened with my immune system. That's like the lasting effect from being sick as a kid, is that like I've ever got a fever. So that means a fever is a trigger to your body heating something up,
fighting.
Yep.
Right.
And so I'll just have strep throat. You know what I mean? One morning, I'm like, "Oh, my throat is closed." So there's no warning signs. So I had to start seeing warning signs from other things. And so I remember my mom drilling that in my head, like, "Hey, make sure you wash your hands, make sure these things like that." Because there were some talks about potentially having to be in a bubble. And it was just for those reasons of like, maybe he won't be aware of things that could get him sick. Like, I get real cringy when like my boys are like maybe at a bakery and are like licking the glass. Oh my God.
Doing boy stuff, man.
Doing boy stuff.
My son thinks he's a dog, so he'll take his water and put it on the ground, like get on all fours and start sucking it off the floor.
Man,
and only I grab him real quick if we're in public trying to do that. But yeah, I get that. It's
that's your first kid. The third one, you'll let them. You'll be like, whatever.
Makes you stronger. It's fine.
My mom always, so I'm one of 3 boys. My mom always tells the story. She said, first child eats dirt, take him to the ER.
Yes.
Second child eats dirt, you clean their mouth out. Third child eats dirt, you wonder if you still have to feed them lunch.
Yeah, that's it. Like, it's like, it goes down as it.
I was the third child.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, no, so I think that was probably it, the earliest memories. And then like I spent a lot of time in the hospital as a kid. Like I was just clumsy or whatever, getting sick, just being there. Like, I kind of like understood what it was about. Like I understood the waiting room, filling out the paperwork, we sit here, this person comes and the doctor comes. And so I kind of got used to that. And then like just when sports happen, injuries are 100%. So yeah, that's really it, man. My mom kind of just drilled that in my head early.
I love that. So you spoke about being a Boys and Girls Club kid.
Yeah.
Who is one adult? And I think one of the things as we build, we call this the brotherhood of fatherhood, right? You talked about it before. There's none of us are prepped for this, and so one of the things that this platform's great on is helping dads do their best. And so, what is one adult outside of your home who you saw something in before you could see it in yourself? Yeah.
Man, I think a question like that, it makes me think about a lot of things. I mean, because I don't know if Hey Dad has had an episode to where, like I became a good dad, but I didn't have a dad, so there were a lot of males in my life growing up that played different roles. And I think the best part about not having a dad, but having awareness that I wanted to always be a dad growing up, I looked for certain things in like this friend's dad or certain things that are certain like cool relationship aspects from, my friend here that played at Ohio State or a guy at high school. Like I remember his dad had this set up for him. I remember his dad fought for him in this way. I remember, he gave him this kind of training. And the best part is like, I didn't have like one blueprint to be like, I got to be like this because my dad, or even that voice. So I think God is so funny. He gave me that awareness so that I could pick different things and not necessarily be married to like one figure in my life. Because my dad passed when I was 10, and I really didn't have much relationship with him from like the time we moved from California from like age 5 to age 10. So I didn't really like know what kind of dad he was, like outside of, the stories that I heard. So man, I had coaches that played major roles, and then like you kind of realize, like you can only get so much from coaches at that time in your life.
Right.
Because like these guys are like probably like my age now, like, just trying to give back to kids. And then you had different pastors or, different, dads that would come and, take care of the kids that played on my team. And I think for me, like I just was like always aware of that. And, I had coaches that really would like pick me up, but I would probably say like my first figure was my first AAU coach. His name was Kente Walimu. And he was like I don't know if you guys know like about these guys who are like know your history and they are like 1%ers and things like that. And like it's like if you're a 1%er, you have to like speak history. So he was like the first dude that like put me on like ways to carry yourself as a young black man.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, like when we're in the van, like, hey, like hold the door for people, like be aware, like you're at McDonald's, say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, like things like that are just the way that we practice and train. Like he was big on conditioning, like jumping rope and like being in shape. And like I was like the tallest kid on the team in like the 4th and 5th grade. So I kind of played center for a while. You're like, I learned post moves first. And so he was just like real big on development and like getting stronger and like, he had us like volunteer at the YMCA to like raise money for AAU. Like, we were selling nachos and selling Gatorades and trying to upsell Snickers and, and things like that. And or you would like work the clock. So you would be on the concessionary work clock. And like, I was just always with Coach Wallymo. He would just come pick me up in a 16-passenger van and we would just be somewhere in Cincinnati playing basketball or asking him for food. And so I think like that guy was like really early. My mom had friends that was like really early. It was actually a Moeller man. He worked, in the police force. And so like, he was a big figure in my life, Gary Curry. And then outside of that, my Uncle Clint, he played football at St. X High School and he played for the Bills and he was actually O.J. Simpson's fullback.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And he got drafted to San Francisco. So I think like that was my sports dad,
Right.
And then I had Coach Wallyman. He's like my neighborhood community recreation dad. Like he allowed me to like, play at a bunch of rec centers all over town and stuff like that. So I like, sports and people that I connected through there. Those were like probably like my early figures for, I would say, who I had in my life to help me shape and mold stuff. And then when I got to college, man, like, teammates' dads, like Jamie Woods' dad, I'm really close to him, Orion Johnson's dad. So, D-Wash, you get to see how dads were able to enjoy, their sons in college and stuff. So I kind of naturally gravitated towards, those relationships for real.
I mean, just what a blessing having all those different influences in your life and critical moments in your life.
Yep.
And without having a dad, a lot of kids don't have dads. Like they don't have those kind of relationships. So I'm glad that you had them and you had the wherewithal and knowledge to be like, all right, I like what this guy does. I don't like what that part of him, or I want to be like that. And that had to have like helped shape you as the father you want to be and are today.
Yeah, I think it helped. I think honestly, like the dad thing, and I've never talked about this publicly, like it made me like the player I was too.
Yeah, because like a chip on your shoulder.
I mean, bro, like I would get, like I always got to the field early. Like I just like, it was something about seeing the field get lined for me. Like as a kid, like I don't know why, like, but I would just wake up at 6 a.m. I had my bike, walking to, going to the field. And I mean, you're from Cincinnati, Brian, so you know how College Hill is. Like, everything's accessible. So we were able to ride a bike, and I would like want to get there to see dads tying their kids' shoes, or like I would see a dad like strapping a chin. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm taking his head off, or I'd be like, oh, I'm embarrassing him in front of his dad. Like, and it was like as I've grown and like talked to my psychologist about this, it's like there's this thing about. Like I preyed on dudes who had dads, not from a bad place, but from like I got motivation from it because it was such a hole, you know what I mean? It was so much pain. Yeah. So sports really, like it kind of like gave me an edge a little bit, you know. But at the same time, like I just like as I grow and even with my boys, I'm like, hey, like listen, like you got a target on your back. You're being hunted. Like there's probably a pre-conversation in the car about playing against you.
Yep.
Like just.
Because you got the same last name as me.
Like, and it's probably like my karma because I was hunting dudes. You know what I mean? So like, just
and then
ready.
also what you were able to do at levels that guys, especially some of these youth dads, could only dream of. Now they're pushing it on their kids. And they don't even understand. Like that's not what it's about. That's not how you get there.
So crazy, man. And but yeah, so I think like it is a crazy thing to think about. Like the coaches that played in the role, the motivation I got as a player without a dad, and then also like just like saying like I just wanted to play professionally long enough to have like that Space Jam Michael Jordan feel of like coming home with your gym bag over your shoulder, like, like I'm a pro, but I got a family and stuff like that. Like that was a feeling that I wanted to feel, and I was able to feel it, and that's why I love Canada because Canada gave me that,
gave you the opportunity for your kids to see you doing that,
come in the locker room, things like that, and I think that that's why I played as long as I did and went through as much as I went through. And I'm not saying like, I'm doing this until this happened. It just, how it is, like things just kind of get checked off as you're rolling and just committed to the mission. And that was like something that was important to me. And like, after that happened, like I kind of felt fulfilled. Like, Drew's in the locker room. I'm like, all right, cool. I got everything I need,
And that's such a cool perspective because like I think normal people would not think players or young players would look at that and be like, man, I want to have a kid. But I remember being at the Giants my rookie year and seeing like after practice, you come on the field, there's a tent with all the wives and their kids, giving them hugs, like wearing their jerseys. And I just remember like, that is awesome. And I don't think I ever told anybody that, but like thinking I want to play long enough to have my kids be at my practice, see me play in the NFL, make plays. Yeah. And it's just a source of pride. And it's like having them be involved. I unfortunately didn't get that opportunity, but that's fine. Everything
the XFL is going on. You come out of retirement.
Yeah. I might have one good pass pro snap in me. I can't run anymore. You got
a drive? You got one drive?
One drive? No.
Okay. We punting. We getting number 3.
I could catch little flats maybe. But no, I could maybe some blocking pass pro, but no, I'm out. But yeah, it's just funny you say that because I remember that vividly. Mm-hmm. And I was with the Giants. I was on a team that culture was already established. Yeah. The pros were already established. Yep. The leaders were there. Yep. Eli Manning, Justin Tuck.
Pierce was there.
Yeah.
So you got drafted to an older team. Like everybody was, that's what happened to me in Houston. And it forces you to like mature super quickly.
Because they're setting the standard. They're used to winning. So that was part of it. But like that kid piece, I love that you said that because I remember vividly about that. And I actually just bought my son an Ohio State jersey the other day and got it personalized with his name on the back. So anyway, that's awesome.
I'm hearing early commit to Ohio State, Benny.
Yeah. I don't know. He was born at Duke, so we feel like that was a soft commitment for Duke B-ball.
There you go.
That's so. Yeah, no, he's gonna be a Duke.
He's gonna be a B-baller. He might be 6'10", so I don't know.
But one thing I did want to say about that point, Jake, too, like I do like want to take a moment to shout out like guys that I play with who had kids early. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because, those guys, they kind of help you too. You know what I mean? Like they help you understand that there is a life where like I can, play and do all of the things to get my edge and then also still be a great dad. And like, I remember there was like a battery pack on certain guys who had kids that like I didn't understand until I had a kid. And it's like you see your kid and you're like, and it's like, I'll do anything for this person. And I think back, and you probably can relate to this, is like when you had good knees and when you were fast, if you had that battery pack of having a kid, like you would have been a different player. Like there's no doubt about it. Like, and you have to admit that. And you also have to shout out the guys who were able to work through having a kid early and still be successful as players because I remember it was a teammate, Brandon Whittaker, and I tear up thinking about him because he's like one of my favorite teammates, but nobody knows about him. But dude showed me how to be a dad and a pro. Yeah, like my first year in Toronto, he had two twin. Well, they were like Irish twins, so like 1 year, but he had two twin boys, and I would always tell him like, I got a homie for these dudes back home. Like when he gets up here, like I was like, if ever I can like figure out how to get my family up here because I wasn't there yet. Like having family there every day, I just was like still like they're there, I'm here, I'm working, and I hadn't merged it. Yeah, but Canada has a 4-hour rule where practice has to be done from 9 to 2, and you're gone, right? Like literally, that's cold tub and everything, and meetings included.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that's an hour with lunch, like so. You have that, and so his wife would be there on the field, and they would go to lunch, or they would go to a park, or they would go to a museum, or like they would go down to the lake in Toronto, and they would just do a family activity every day. And I asked to join them a couple times, like, and I didn't have my family. I just wanted to be around the kids because I was missing Drew. Right. And so when I tell you, like, dude was a consummate pro, like passing out the game plans, like great relationship with the trainers, getting body work before everybody else. On top of it, not making any MAs, and then hanging out with his family and taking care of his body. Like, I was like, yo, I want that.
He brought that standard to every piece of his life.
Every piece of his life,
that,
man. And so like I do want to mention like my teammates that helped me with the vision of being a dad, because there's a lot of guys you play with that you're like, now I got a lot of respect for that dude and I know why he goes as hard. And so like it just comes from everywhere, Brian, you know? I know that was a long drawn out, but it's such a complex.
You were a sponge, and I think most successful people are. They're trying to pick up pieces from everything. Yep. But you know, we talk about coaches and fatherhood, and then Brian, I'm going to steal a question for you, but you know, we had the opportunity to play for Coach Tressel, one of the legendary coach, and on the field success and accolades, but off the field, he really cared about his players. Yep, and you can feel that. All the meetings were intentional, and he would always try to talk about like football is going to be over one day, and he wants you to be a successful dad and man and part of the community. Were there aspects of like things that Tressel taught us that are still kind of ingrained in you, or you think about a lot with your boys?
Yeah, so like going back to the piece of like not having a dad, right? Like my early guys showed me I want to be a dad, and then there's like this thing of like how to become a man, but then there's wisdom and decision making,
discernment,
right. And like inner Jim Tressel in my life. You know what I mean? And like, and I think for him, you were a part of it. Like just the wisdom we got on a daily basis, bro. It's like you got to just thank God that you put my life timeline and his timeline crossed at that time, just so that I could get some of that. Right. And I think that wisdom aspect that Coach Tressel just brought to all of us, not just me. Like I wasn't the only one that got it. You know, I just, you know, I think our whole time we all act with intention. Like every Tressel player, like that's how I connect with all of them, right? Like we all have like that little, like we can be our face and, you know, be on the media and be who we are in all our roles, but you take time talking to a Bobby Carpenter, you take time talking to a C. Grant, Maurice Claret, a Tay again, a San Antonio. There's a little bit something behind there, you know, you know, boom, there's something behind Beanie. And I think we all shared that with Coach, and we all got that from him. And I'm like super thankful that I just like was given that structure to start days and to like have like, you know, when I had success in my life, like for the first time, it was at Ohio State. It was the Rose Bowl. You know what I mean? Like that was like the first big success that I've ever had. Okay, so let's go back and look at the microcosmos system that led up to that. It was those days. It was those reflection points. It was things that he wanted you to think about. It was ways that, you know, Lichter and all, like his whole system. So for me, like that's a familiar traditional feeling of like now in life when things are wrong, like, well, let me get back to those microcosmo buildups. Like, let's take time in the morning, you know, let's make sure my body's right. Let's make sure I'm eating good. Let's make sure I'm communicating a certain way. Like I picked up something from him, like, you know, encourage loudly, criticize softly. That's every day. Right. With now Drew and Reese, that's every day with my wife, you know? And so I'm so thankful for like wisdom, discernment, from that aspect with him in my life and crossing paths. Like he big picture, you know, like he really helped with a lot of that.
Yeah. I mean, just being the winner's manual every day. The first thing we do is write 3 things you're thankful or grateful for. Right. And that's at the time, maybe I didn't take it as serious.
None of us did.
But looking back, like that's what I start every day now. Like I read scripture and then I'm also like, God, thank you for today. Thank you for my wife. Thank you for my son, my future girl on the way. Like for my job, you know, all these
Congratulations,
things.
by the way.
Thank you. And
girl dad. Yeah.
I was going to be a little boy dad following your steps, but there's a girl coming. So
let's go.
Hey,
I'm excited about it.
You don't have a sister, right?
I do. I have 2 sisters.
Oh, you have 2 sisters. Yeah. So you and your brother are the 2 younger?
2. Yeah, we're the youngest. So 2 older sisters, and my brother actually has 4 girls.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Bless him. And he has a 5th. He had a 5th child who was a boy, shockingly. But so he's happy he got his boy. But yeah, have that
he's
girl
brave
coming.
For going 4 or 5.
Huh?
He's brave for rolling the dice and going for 5.
He's crazy. I told him he was crazy trying for 4, but that's a whole nother podcast.
So one of the themes I'm hearing that I love is that I think meshes with Hey Dad, that's fun, is we talk about this brotherhood of fatherhood. Yeah. And so I'm picking up all of these guys that came alongside you in different ways to shape you. Yeah, and I think it's really important for people watching or listening that the importance of, you've got your blood, your children, right?
Yeah.
And we want to do right by them, but how impactful you can be to so many others. So as you talk about your Ohio State journey, obviously the locker room, Jake, things like that, who else, stood out to you? I'm sure it was a lot of guys in a team there, but who stood out to you at Ohio State that, as things, the ups and the downs and everything didn't let you get too high, but also encouraged you along your journey to make you the leader and the dad you are today?
Man, I think, we had great teammates during our time at Ohio State. I mean, like, they're impeccable leaders now. Malcolm Jenkins, Marcus Freeman's of the world, Heartlines. I mean, like, go for days. I mean, even in business, Andrew Moses is, the lead attorney for, Sherwin-Williams. I mean, we crossed paths with some really good, dudes in our time. So I think the standard was really high. And when I first got to Ohio State, like, I remember every day, I went to all boys school, and you know how that is. Like, you can kind of get really comfortable in your routine, really comfortable with, like, not caring about what you wear to school. It's just, like, about production. So I think when I got to Ohio State, like, coming in the locker room, like, people kind of like joning on you for what you're wearing. It was like a standard for, like, the way you carried yourself, the way you presented yourself. And I remember the first time I tried to, like, spat my own cleats, and I had a hole in the spat. And, like, Hardline, Ray Small, and Robisky just killed me. And so, like, just at Ohio State, like, there was a standard of, like, excellence that you had to raise up to immediately. And I think when it came to, like, working out or running, like, I think that's where, like, I, like, tried to meet it first, because I was a track guy. So I was just like, I don't know anything. I might not be able to lift with these dudes. Marcus Freeman looks scary. I don't want him or James Laurinaitis to hit me. But I know a lot of these dudes can't run with me. You know what I mean? Or, like, maybe one or two dudes can run with me on this team. And the only other dude that could run me was Dane Sansabacher. And I love Dane because I would just be like, all right, I'm killing. I would look down, and he would just be like, with his hands on his hips, just eating the run. And I would just be like, yep, he's going to, like, drive me crazy as far as, like, just pushing me every day. Like, I just can't outwork this dude. And so I think, like, there were, like, standards to the way you carried yourself on and off the field, and that older guys would let you know about it. It was a team that was policed internally. And then because we just had, like, I can't give one leader credit. It's so many great leaders, Super Bowl champions, head coaches, CEOs, like, they're, it was just a great police locker room. And then there were standards working out. And it was, like, pro stuff to where, like, dudes were really showing you. And you just fell in line if you want, or you didn't play. So I wanted to play. Yeah.
Guys, this is so funny you say that, but, like, Dane could run for days.
Bro, it was so annoying.
It was like he never got tired.
It was so annoying.
Like, ever. And I wasn't even running with him. I'm gassed looking at Dane. I'm like,
this dude, just eat it, man.
And he was never, like, the fastest dude straight line, but he would outrun everyone.
Yes. Well, he would outlast and just be killing it. And, like, and it was like, Brian, like, you got to understand, man, like, you getting ready for a run at Ohio State was almost, like, worse than, like, the state track meet, because pain is going to be inflicted. And then, two, it's like, you have to compete. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to, like, there's no, like, sandbag, because, like, you can make that choice, but you want your name. Like, I wanted a Cherry Farm drink. You remember Cherry Farm drink?
Yeah.
So, like, if I talked to Coach my freshman year, it was like, if you get a Cherry Farm drink, you're on the travel team. And so I remember I was like, I'm going to work out as hard as I can. So when I get a Cherry Farm drink, that means I might be able to travel with the team, with the squad, right? Yeah. Now, I was like, I want to go to USC so bad freshman year.
Yeah.
And so that was, that was just the only thing I was focused on. But, like, just to get to that level, it, like, my stomach would be in knots trying to compete with these pros at that time in your life. But, man, it was such a high standard with those dudes, man.
This guy's pushing you. That grind makes you better.
Yeah, and the workout, like, you said that perfectly. Mm-hmm. I was more nervous for workouts than a game.
Yeah.
Because you knew you were about to get your face kicked in.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't going to be easy. Mm-hmm. And you're competing against the best in the country.
Yep.
And you don't want to look like a weak player, and you want to compete and you want to get better, but also it's going to be hard. You're going to get tired. You might throw up.
You remember the night before the stadium run? How nervous you would be?
The stadium run was the worst one, and then we started warming up, running to the stadium, and thank God, like. Offensive, we did pretty well because defense always had one slow guy. We beat them all the time.
They always had a big D lineman. We're going to beat him.
Yeah. So, Brian, we had a stadium run, and we'd start out the offense. It'd be offense versus defense, and we started different sides of the stadium, and we would do the first
in the horseshoe.
The horseshoe.
So it would be at this end
to the closed, and we'd run up and down the stairs to the closed end, and we would do double A, then single A, then we'd do C deck.
So, but hold on, Jake, you're leaving this out. So the first one, like we would go just snake up the small A's. In between, it's gassers.
Yes, that's what I was going to get to.
I don't know how many there is, though. Is it 3 or 5?
Well, I think it was like 3, but the losing team had to run, it was half gassers. We had to run 3 half gassers, and the losing team had to run an extra full gasser.
Which is 5, yeah.
Yeah, the gasser is the width of the field. Down and back is a half. Full was down, back. So the losing, whoever lost the first time was going to lose the rest of them.
Yes, because you're dead.
You're already behind the, yeah.
So then, like, we knew often, I don't think I ever lost because defense had, I can't remember who, Alex Barrow was 1 year. And
Dexter
then
Lawrence.
Dexter. Dexter was another one. Yeah. And I don't know how, I think we got lucky because Steve Raring, I don't think was running those days or something. Yes. But yeah, they were the worst. And that was the worst workout of the year. There's no question.
Man, I mean, and just the dudes were like, I mean, I just remember just being like, yo, hey, Hardline, hey, Robisky, how y'all getting through this? I'm just going to be on y'all backside. Like, I'm just going to be right. I'm just going to be in your hip pocket. And, like, then I kind of got to the point, so I saw them dying and I started getting better. But,
right. That motive, Dave, that work. I mean, when you see somebody that's at your position and dying, you're like, okay, I'm going to turn it up a notch.
Turn it up a notch, man.
I'm not going to let them beat me now. It's
such
over.
A high standard when you stepped on campus here, man. And they're all great. And in the mention, go back to the whole thing. All of these dudes we're talking about are great dads, and just great leaders. So like we were really lucky to be at Ohio State during that time, man. I think I'm so thankful for it.
Leaning on those guys in that adversity definitely makes you the whole collective better. Everybody sees the guys run out of the tunnel at the horseshoe. They don't realize just how much goes into that.
Yeah.
So one thing I would love to move to is, you were, despite having only a few games as a senior, you were good enough to get drafted in the 3rd round. You get into a team that I believe had Andre Johnson. There you have a great rookie season. We talk about the torn Achilles. The team then turns around and drafts DeAndre Hopkins. And I believe you helped him learn too. And so I would love to lean into, because that says a lot about you as a man.
Yeah.
Probably what you got from Ohio State is that here's a guy that, it's not even just the depth chart, it's your job, and that you're coming in and helping him be a part of that. So can you talk a little bit about that experience and with the Houston Texans?
Yeah, I think, when they told me they were drafting Hop, I was like on the training room table, like rehab. Like I couldn't even put my heel on the ground. Like it was non-bearing, weight bearing at that time. So it wasn't like I could like compete.
Can't do it.
Yeah. And so Hop became my friend, you know what I'm saying? And still to this day, we're extremely close. And I think I'm thankful for that time because 1, it like helped me become a better pro. And then 2, I think my experience with Hop bought me time in Canada. Like, because I'm rehabbing, implementing health plans and like, doing the health and wellness stuff and trying to like just ultimately just speed up the healing curve. Like, Achilles is 9 months. I wanted 6 to 7 months. Like I wanted to be coming out of routes and pushing out of press coverage by 6 months. And it was a lofty goal, but I'm fighting that battle. But at the same time, like I'm still like lifting mental weights by, having to be like, not a mentor, but a brother. Like, cause Hop wasn't too much younger than me. It was more like, like, dang, like this is the first dude that got to this team that's my age. Because the year before, Dre's year 10, Kevin Walters year, 11, Matt Schaub year 8, Owen Daniels is an OG at that time. Yeah. He was so good too, man. And then Arian Foster, older dude. So it was like, oh, what are you doing, DeVier? oh, do you want to come to Bible study on Tuesday? And I'm like, no, or can you read to my nonprofit at the school? Like, I got a nonprofit, we read at schools, blah, blah, come read. And you're like, all right. But I'm so thankful for that because it like set me on the path that I'm on now. But when Hop came in, I was like, oh, this guy's my age. So like I finally had like a homie on the squad. So I think being open to like helping him in whatever ways he needed fit. Like, I mean, it wasn't like, I was an expert, but I was just there for him. And like, and I think that's still how I approached things in Canada. Like when you were like, it's just like one day you go into the meeting room and they're like calling you OG and you're like, bro, I'm 29 or like, I'm 28 or I'm 30 and you're like, hey, Unc, or, and it's like a younger player trying to step on an older guy's toes, telling me a little bit old, but like I embraced it, I embraced like showing dudes how to study, showing them how to like be in a meeting room, like how to like study film, throughout the week and, how to prepare, like how to look at the playbook, how to learn like the quarterback's reads or listen to protections and meetings. And I think all of that kind of came from that mentorship from Hop a little bit like that. And I feel like I do that with my sons now. Like I study what they're doing and like I'm like the voice in the background, like the trainer, like not to say like Jalen Brunson's dad, but like that's a good visual of like what I love to do is like not necessarily to coach, but like I'm here to talk about performance. Like I'm your peak performance coach. And I think, I learned that skill during that time frame when I really just wanted to play. But you had to learn how to do that stuff.
So for everybody watching, the dads watching, guys watching that have not cashed an NFL paycheck, which I'm the only one in this room that is not, what would you encourage guys about mentoring people that may not have a guarantee that's going to benefit them? Because I think that's the big thing with DeAndre Hopkins is you mentored him with no benefit that was guaranteed, and it's obviously benefited you. So what would you give the average guy listening? What would you encourage him?
There's no work that doesn't get rewarded. You feel what I'm saying? And I think it's really about like your personal standard. You know what I mean? Like what you feel like you need to give no matter the results. And I think just embracing that as an idea in work, at home, in friendships, like friendships take work, and it takes selfless work. And I think at church, and then, team building, like I'm going to do this without expecting anything. And I think like over time, like you'll be like, oh, I see why you had me do that, God. Or like, oh, I do have experience with this. Or I've been in this situation because, I had the awareness and I was open to it. And I think, when you are called to do things, not asked to do things, because when you're asked to do things, you can say no. When you're called, you have those questions in your head like, man, God, why you got me doing this? Like, all right, I'll do it. And it's like, dang, God, you gonna really press on that? I really got to work on that, or I really have to fix that. That to me is a signal for a calling, and it's like, and I think that's what that was, and I think it really opened up my mind to, like I negotiated with Canadian teams with that on my like notes, like. And I helped DeAndre Hopkins become this, or I helped this pro, like, or when I played with this guy, he had 1,000 yards. Like, it's like I'm trying to convey to you I'm a good teammate, right? And I think it kind of helped. It helped as like time went on, and so now with my boys, who I think will probably be dudes, it's almost like I had to learn how to be Robin. You know what I mean? And I want them to be Batman. Like I want them to be the leader, and I want to push them, and I want to sit in the back. I got cool with like that boxer training kind of feel of like, good job, like you see those dudes jumping in the ring after the UFC fights, and they're just as emotional because they put in the same hours, you know, and it's like I got okay with that, and I think it's helping me as a dad, you know what I mean? Like to be on like that, like I mean, like one of my favorite things to do is rebound for my son. You know what I'm saying? Like, or like, I'll get all your rebounds, bro.
Right.
You know, like I will. Like, and I just like, I embrace it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like being that sidekick,
Yeah.
being that peak performance coach. Like
Right.
it kind of, those experiences with Hop really helped me see things that way. You know what I mean?
And I'm glad this is kind of steering here because, you know, you're the dad of 3 young dudes who are more athletic than most kids their ages. And I feel like you're very intentional with what you allow them to do, whether it's playing or training and stuff like that. And I also loved what you just said. I had to become Robin and I want them to become Batman. Well, dads are the only people that want their sons to be better than them. You want your sons to be better men than you are. You know, I want you guys all to do well, but I want you to be better men than me, but my son. You know what I mean? That's that's just neither here nor there. But with the boys, like my first question would probably be like, when were you like, man, my life has changed once Drew, like when Drew was born? Like when you're like, I that was the old me. Now I'm the dad. Was there a moment where you're like, every fiber of my being is different now?
It was the offseason leading up to the 2017 Grey Cup, the one I won MVP, because I was just like so unsure about like my training and my results. You know what I mean? Like it was like, am I doing the right thing in the offseason? Because I'm not getting any results in the NFL. It's like, what am I doing? And for some reason, I just had this calling to move to Florida and get back with my combine trainer, Tony Verlani at XPE. And so we just rented a crib down there and we rented our house out in Houston and we rented it out. And so I remember that offseason, it was this field in Pompano and I had a 3-year-old and my wife was like working, but I was like a pro. And so he would just be at the field, bro. Like I have like Drew would just be on the, you know, I would be doing the ladder, just running around, you know, and like, you know, come in doing the ladders for a little bit, doing the cones, and be like, I'm done, and just be like, it's hot, daddy, la la la. And I used to remember like Lord, just give me patience, you know what I'm saying? To like,
I pray that many times
to balance this. I remember Anquan Bowden, I was training, he was at the spot, and his son was like in the 8th grade, but he was training with us. And like I would bring Drew to the gym and I would like try and set him up with an iPad and like Drew had to get on the treadmill this day. And then Anquan was like, bro, you can't stop him from, this is his life.
Right.
Like look around, like you're his dad. He was like, he's going to be an athlete. Just let him run on a treadmill. I don't care. It's like in 10 years when he in the league, we gonna laugh about this.
Right.
And so after that, like Drew was like, I kind of like let that feeling go of like, oh, I look like a dad that can't control his kid, to like, no, I'm a dad that's going to always have my kids with me and always be in this world and always like get this, because people pay for this access now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, no, this is a blessing. So I just like, I remember that offseason, I just started looking at it differently. And then that was the year that I got really close with Whittaker. I told you guys about, and I just was like super big on him being around all of this. And I think like that early, like opened my mind to this is a good thing. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, you only care about sports. And that's not true. Like we push our kids in like so many different ways. But I think just opening up the idea to him being around this stuff was like, it was that off season, bro. Like it really like changed my perspective on like, man, I can handle this. Yeah. You know, and this is good. Like this is a good thing for him. So it was like that time frame.
So with like training and all the different sports they might all play, like what's your philosophy around like training and signing up for a bunch of leagues? And I remember, I knew I'm going to butcher this. I remember you told me one time, like, I think of Drew as like a 2018 model car, and I'm trying to keep 100,000 miles off it by the time it's 2032 or however. I'd obviously fix that for me, but like, I feel like you don't hear a lot of dads saying that, but I feel like you hear dads who have played big time ball or know what it's about have that similar mindset. So like when it comes to the training or practices, how do you decide what you want them to do and what you don't want them to do?
I think everybody as an athlete has a lifetime, like a life, and like you start and you die. Like as an athlete, that person has to die so the new person can be alive. And it sounds harsh, but I mean, Jake, like you can't do a windmill anymore, bro.
No.
You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
exactly.
that Jake Ballard is gone and
Right.
I can't dunk anymore. You know, so it's like, how can I extend that life?
Right.
And so I look at it like a 2014 Escalade that needs 100,000 miles by 2040.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, all right, I'm going to keep you in the garage right now.
Right.
Or I'm going to make sure you get an oil change. Or I'm going to take you on the road, make sure everything's running good, put you back in. So the way we kind of look at stuff, and it's hard because like when I first got out of ball, I feel like I got by this youth world. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
the youth sports world. Yeah. I'm not there yet, but I see it. I see it.
Don't do what I did. I got tricked, like, because it's so. What I realize is there are parents who want to see short-term wins for the sacrifice of their finances and time.
Yep.
So they create microcosmo situations where performance is manufactured. Well, this stuff is manufactured. There's no need for this type of pressure
Right now.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't need to manufacture this type of pressure to where, like, you'll see a dad snatch a kid up or you'll see a mom cuss a ref out. It's like, that's not necessary.
Right.
At this point, what's necessary is development. So I think Drew's a pretty decent player in basketball. A few teams ask him to play, but, like, it just comes down to the decision making of, do you play zone? Oh, Drew's not committed to Syracuse.
Right.
So we can't play for your team because he needs to learn the properties and the standards of man defense because that's what he's going to play because that's what they played in the NBA Finals for 7 straight games.
Right.
I didn't see zone.
Right.
So it's like, I don't care that you play 80 games or you got this shoe sponsor. It's like, we'll lose a game. And like his head coach, I love him to death. He called me and was like, bro, we could have won. I was like, no, I know. He was like, but I can't do 2-3. And it's like, fine.
Yeah.
I got to learn to guard somebody.
Right.
And I think, like, as a parent, like, I have to be okay with, like, those lessons happening early versus, like, I had to be okay with whatever results because I know work still has to be done. Like, I don't care that I paid for a trainer. I don't care that, like, I left work early, or I don't care that we said we was gonna work on this and you didn't do it in the game. Well, shoot, it looks like we gotta do it 50,000 more times, bro. Unfortunately, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that I don't have to keep saying this. And it's like, I think, and also, you know this too. I think people in the youth world think sports is a destination, but it's a practice of perfection over and over again. And like I'm gonna say it again, it's a practice of perfection. Now, is it gonna be perfect? No. But you have to wake up and be like, I'm still gonna be the best I can be.
Right.
Or I'm gonna do everything in my power, or I'm gonna prepare the best way. And things could still go wrong. Like, you know, and so I think with professional sports, the margin of error is so tight that, like, all that training, all that stuff does, it just gives you a chance.
Right.
It don't guarantee nothing.
No.
You know, and I think, you know, just bringing that mindset as a dad to him, my wife, in our circle, you know, kids and families that we, like, come across is like, yo, they took a step in the right direction today. They might have lost or whatever. They might not be this. We might not be able to do an Instagram post of them winning the championship, but you know what? I saw him speak on defense today, or I saw this kid pick his teammate up. You know, I saw somebody have a little fight, went on a 6-0 run after we were down 3. Like, you know, just take the little wins and kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not always about trying to make it to the league. It's sports and training for sports prepare you for life as a person, as a potential, eventually a father, you know, working, you know, just the mental toughness aspect of it and all their attributes that you get from playing sports. It helps. Yeah. It helps make people better people. I mean, honestly, like when you have to do hard stuff.
Do it right.
Right.
Yep.
Well, and we're talking about purpose beyond sports. And I think to me, the value you put in Pocket Full of Posies and Empower and everything you've done, Pocket Full of Posies began in 2013. its roots go back to the nonprofit support nutrition changes that helped you as a child through all of those challenges. When did you recognize that your childhood story had become, as you just called it, a calling, and that to be able to provide everything for others?
Man, I guess like when like hard times become inspirational for other people, I think that like that helps me with all the stuff that I got to go through, I guess. And I mean, my life isn't harder than the next man's, but and everybody faces different things. But I think like tough, like you could either like use it or like, let it destroy you. And I think your calling is going to destroy you. You know what I mean? Like in every way, like it's going to test you. And so Pocketful of Posies, the nutrition aspect, I got inspired to start that because I was like trying to get healed from an Achilles, and I was like actually living it, and I was doing the intestines cleanses and the gut cleanses back in 2013, and I was, going to a smoothie diet, getting rid of carbs, just, doing veggies and proteins, and just like, I started to understand like, oh, like I can use my stomach as a tool for recovery. Like, and I think you just become like, it sort of just becomes, the stuff that you go through, you take it, and just allow you to grow with it. And I think Pocketful of Posies just came from literally, I was doing my rehab and I was just kind of like living that lifestyle. And I think I was like, man, I know a lot of other people could heal fast, or we can inspire a lot of other kids to, eat the right way or just understand. Like, and I tell my son this all the time. He thinks like it's okay to be like, oh, I'm the dude that doesn't eat before a competition. And I mean, there's a lot of dudes like that. It's like, I get it, but at the same time, like, let's go back to the 2014 Escalade thing. What gas are you using, bro? Like, you ain't got no gas. You gonna stay in the garage. Mentally,
right.
you still in the
go anywhere.
Yeah, you still, like you need something to burn. And so
right.
I think I was just surprised at that time how many families just didn't understand that. And then
basic nutrition.
And what do you put in your body after? Like, if you're gonna eat pizza, just know like there's no such thing as the itis. What's happening is you ate such a crappy meal that your body had to shut down to digest food. So what that means is that sleep isn't being used to recover, it's being used to digest food. So say if we got like a 10 o'clock hour and you use 7 hours to digest food, you only had 3 hours to recover. I would rather my body not spend no time digesting food. Like, food gives me energy and then I can just recover. And so just like teaching that to families and just like understanding that, teaching people how to shop, and then just like having a nonprofit, it's like the type of spaces and rooms it puts you in, and just like, driving out to Shazier stuff and just, connecting with people on other causes. It's a whole, the nonprofit space for me it's so much fun because it's work, but you get to help people. And I just like love hearing how other organizations are doing it and, and what we're battling. And I think, there's a lot of warriors out here who just like want to take their pain and like help other people, like spiritual warriors. And I think, that's what I enjoy the most about, like that nonprofit space.
I think it's so incredibly important, the whole nutrition piece, because in the culture that we live in today, if you go with the flow, just whatever the flow is right now, we're poisoning our kids and then wondering why they can't pay attention and all the illnesses. I see it with my girls is if you're not overly intentional and battling against the current, they're going to consume just crap, basically, artificial this, artificial that, refined this. And then again, feeding into all of the other things that connected with that nutrition and that gut health, everything that starts with. So I love that. And can you talk about how you're equipping, you're in that same space, the mental, the nutrition, education, mentorship, all of that is all connected in overall wellness. So can you talk about being able to marry those two? Yeah,
earlier this year, we switched Empower to Adaptive Behavioral Wellness. We changed our name. I got to get you the new website, but no, it's all good. I didn't get to tell you guys that, but the thing I love with Adaptive is like, even with the name, like how can we show kids how to adapt to life and actually like add like task orientation to life for your mental health, for peak performance as a human. And I think just like what I went through at Ohio State, you know, with the suspension, that was my first time implementing sports psychology into my life. And so I was able to, you know, work with a sports psychologist that I kept for 11 years, like every year through the pros. And I think just having that counsel, like our main goal was compartmentalizing task orientation for peak performance. And so like but what's so, I guess, sick about that is that my wife, my first kid, my mom, like all of my life and all my stressors and like blessings were part of the thing that got compartmentalized and put over here for peak performance, right? And so like you meet with a person for over a decade and you're talking about like, forget that happened. All right, you know, like we got this game, like, yo, like this is what I'm thinking. Like, all right, this is what's in the game plan. Like, yo, what are some things that help me think about this on game day? Like, you know what I mean? And so like, that's what like, this is becoming a distraction and talking about being a dad. And it's like, hard, like, and then you go through these things. And I remember my relationship with my psychologist started to change. And what happened was like, hey man, like, I'm realizing that, you know, chasing this peak performance is like really costing me my future. You know what I mean? And so when I think about adaptive, I think about that transition of, well, going into being a psychologist and like what's all in that building and then like coming out of that and into this world. I think adaptive kind of embodies all of that for the youth, basically saying like, hey, we're going to give you the tools to be a great student, have goals in society, connect in clubs, be here, do these extracurricular activities. How do you balance it all? How do you write down your goals? You know, how do you work through mental issues? You know, if you have, you know, certain, you know, delays in certain areas, like how can we help you with those things? Giving people support. Because I was an IEP kid, right? Like I had an IEP from kindergarten till I graduated college. So like I can speak from a standpoint of a kid with ADHD, you know, like, so I know how to help you. And so then you talk about the mental aspect that I learned later in my career, and how do we change that internal chatter? Mm-hmm. How do we write things down? Like, how do we like track and talk with somebody, you know, in one-on-ones or in group settings to make sure that the stressors that I have in my life are the needs are being met. And then on top of that, like, how can I use what I have to get to where I'm going? So I think adaptive kind of embodies that. And, you know, when I was a young dad just running around town in Montreal, like I needed a place for Drew to be after school. And they had this program called BASE, B-A-S-E, before and after school education. And it was almost like an experience with a guidance counselor with the Montreal school board. You had to go downtown, set an appointment, and like, this is for an after school program. And like, we pick majors. Like, we pick karate, we pick pottery, we pick art, and we pick yoga. And so he was at a school in St. Leonard that was a French immersion school. So it was English going into French. So one lesson would be in French, the next day, same lesson in English. And then, you know, they would spend time on Italian. And then they had this after school program to where, because it was such an emergence program, they couldn't fit in art and gym and stuff like that. So you had to pick for after school.
Oh, I got you.
And so I loved that base program.
Yeah.
And I was like, this has to exist back home.
Right.
Right. Like there has to be like this evaluation, assessment period. There has to be like this like plan picking. There has to be like, and like we were working through behavioral issues with Drew at the time. And so I think, you know, that's really where adaptive and that mindset came from, was just like my experience and seeing that program work, because it created a great student for my son. Like I don't have problems with him in school. Like behavior, I mean, he might bring a fart gun every now and then, or like spray some, spray,
Right.
like
Kid stuff, boy stuff.
boy stuff.
Not kid stuff, boy stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where it comes from, man. Just kind of like, that background of psychology and then like, just using using it, like actually being a client myself.
Yeah.
And knowing that like I still, go to therapy I seek it out, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just because it's important to have that unbiased opinion. And it's important to like work and bounce off thoughts and I don't think that's my spouse's responsibility, you know what I mean? To work through my mental, and it's not my kids' responsibility to work through the things that that I chose to do. Jake, our brains are messed up from ball. Like that's not like my boys didn't ask for that, So
Right.
I got to work on that stuff on my own, and I think that's where it really comes from, for real.
I love that.
Well, I love the backstory and heart behind that, and I was not aware of it. I know you talked to me a little bit of golf about it, but that's awesome, and I'd love to learn more about it and see how I can help in any way.
Man, for sure.
Well, we're winding down now. We appreciate you being here. We just want to have some more, I guess, deeper questions that probably have shorter answers, right? We developed Hey Dad because we wanted dads to be able to become like the foundation of your childhood again, or at least your children, be the most important voice or the loudest voice in your kid's life outside of social media and social influencers, because most of the time those paths lead to destruction, right? And we wanted also, life's not guaranteed and life happens fast, so we wanted dads to be able to give a chance to leave behind memories to their kids, in case they're not around. With your boys, with Drew, Niles, and Reese, what's one thing you hope they never have to guess about how you feel about them?
How I feel about them? Oh, man. I hope they never question their identity. I pray that they know who they are at all times, and because I think there's so much power in that when it's a decision from peer pressure, know who you are. When it's a decision where you disagree with something, keep your head, know who you are. Like when there's a young lady pursuing you, keep the goals in mind, know who you are. With work, everything gets rewarded. Like you know that right now. You know what I mean? Like like I was just drilling Drew this morning about he was going to football camp. I said, you're probably gonna drop some passes today. He said, why? I said, because you didn't make your bed, brush your teeth. I said, like, you gotta understand there's little performances there's little things in life where you gotta do checklist things. And then I was like, but it starts with how you do it. Like you can't just get here and check in like that mental chamber and be like, oh, I'm gonna do good. Like, no, it started from when you woke up. And so I think that's something I would love for them to always know is who you are, no matter where you are. That's something I would love to leave behind is a reminder of self. I think that's it.
Awesome. Well, one more for me, then Brian will have an outro.
Yeah.
If you could leave a message for the boys, that they will be seeing years from now.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
To any of us, but years from now they see this message.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
Oh man, I would say, boys, your dad loves you. Your mom loves you. No matter what you do, get up every day, no matter what you're going through, and stick to your routine. Your routine is going to save you when you don't feel like it. 2, always protect people who can't protect themselves. Always speak up for people who can't speak up for themselves. And always, never compromise yourself for any gain. You know what I mean? Don't put yourself in a position to where somebody could say this, or you did that, or you said this. Just make sure you're in an uncompromising position, and love your mom, love your mom if I'm not here, and love each other. Like, mom passed, my dad passed. The only thing that connects me to my past is my brothers and sisters.
Right.
And I think, the sibling relationship is so important. Be friends. Don't argue. Because I promised my mom I wasn't going to argue with my siblings. So, just make sure that you guys always love each other and take care of each other. That's what I would tell them, man. This is tough because it's like I'm thinking as if I'm dead, like.
Well, yeah. and we're not trying to be morbid, but like, I probably have 40 messages of my son on here. And I know that if anything happens to me, he'll have a snippet of how I think or how I feel about him. And that's, there's nothing else like right now. And that was our goal, right? Affect families for the positive. So.
Oh, no, this is so cool. And I love what you guys are doing. And I love, like, there's so much stuff for moms, right? Like, I didn't even know it was Father's Day coming up because I didn't see a commercial,
Because we don't, I mean, we care, but we don't care.
Yeah, we don't
like, care. My wife asked me, what do you want for Father's Day? Hang out with you guys.
Yep.
I don't need anything.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're not going to golf because it's going to be too packed.
You're right.
Every single foursome's going to be taken on every golf course.
Right.
Yes.
Well, DeVier, this has been incredible. Thank you for your honesty, showing up, showing that life can hold public success, painful setbacks, reinvention, and a purpose even bigger than your first dream. To learn more about DeVier's work, visit pocketfullofposies.org, adaptive behavioral wellness.
Thank you.
And learn about his work with health, wellness, development of young people and families. I love where you put your priorities, and I love the impact you're making. Your reminder again for our children, that they deserve to hear, and they deserve us to be their biggest champion. They're Batman. And so, they're Robin. They deserve us to walk alongside of them. And then I'd encourage you to go to heydad.pro, record your first message today. Your dreams may change, but your voice can remain a part of your children's lives for generation. And finally, if this conversation meant something to you or helped you in any way, share it with another dad that needs to hear it. Subscribe and review the podcast. It helps us reach more dads, more conversations. With that, we will see you next time on the Hey Dad podcast.